Hi everyone, I'm Stacy Notestine from Baby's Best Beginning. I am a nurse and an IBCLC, that's an International Board Certified Lactation Consultant in private practice. So my business name is Baby's Best Beginning. You can see that right behind me there. All right, so I offer services to moms who are breastfeeding or pumping. So really any mom who's providing breast milk. I have an office over on Rich Street, which isn't too far from German Village. And I have two consultants right now who are doing home visits for me, if that's something you're interested in. So anyway, that's a little bit about me, my background. I was a labor and delivery nurse for the first 10 years of my career. And it really wasn't until after my fourth baby that I decided to go into lactation. And that was because of my own struggles with fourth baby. So I even had a set of twins in the middle. That's them right up there. And that's my Zachary sitting in the pot. His personality is still the same. That I went through some struggles with him and ended up in the hospital with mastitis. And through those struggles, I decided to go and get my certification in lactation and have never looked back. So I love, love, love what I do. I think there's a lot of times moms out there think that breastfeeding is just going to be so easy and it's natural and the baby's going to naturally know what to do. And it doesn't always work like that. Alrighty. So if you're interested in meeting with me, I would be happy to do that. I do telehealth visits right now on Mondays and Fridays, and then I see moms in the office on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you can book an appointment on my website. If you go to babiesbestbeginning.com, you can just schedule, it says schedule appointment right at the very top of the page. Alrighty. So don't struggle, reach out. I also, I want to plug Mom's Milk Club that I do every single Monday. Especially in the time of COVID where moms need lots of support. It's over there and it's virtual that you can tune into that. So, okay, so that's a little bit about me and my business, and I want to make sure that I do everything correctly for It Takes a Village. So let me pop over and go live on Facebook, if this will work. Share the group. Let's see if this is going to work. Okay. Oh no. Back to meeting. There we go. Okay. So I will let the admins at It Takes a Village figure this part out. Wouldn't let me sign into It Takes a Village closed group. So anyway, let's get down to the nitty gritty. Let's talk a little bit. Well, first, let me read you the disclaimer about It Takes a Village, that we are a group of professionals and we serve all families in the postpartum season. And this segment that I'm doing should not substitute if you have medical type questions for your healthcare provider. Always reach out for help. This is not to substitute that. Okay. And within our village, we have all families of all different backgrounds, structures, and values. So I acknowledge all of you who are going to benefit from listening to this talk. Okay. And just want to show respect to however moms do choose to feed their baby. All right. Most people who know me as an IBCLC know that about me, that number one rule is always to feed the baby. Alrighty, so I'd be more than happy to help you if you're struggling with breastfeeding, if you are deciding to pump and bottle feed. I've done many of pumping consults that way too. So anyway, let's get down to it. Let's talk a little bit about how to give a breastfeeding baby a bottle. So the general recommendation when you give a baby a bottle who has been breastfeeding, let's say you've been breastfeeding just fine and it's time to give a baby a bottle, I say usually wait until the baby is between 3 and 4 weeks of age. Same with pumping. If you are nursing fine, I would just practice breastfeeding. All right, learn to breastfeed your baby. Let your baby learn how to breastfeed. And then somewhere around 3 to 4 weeks, that's when you would start pumping. And if you are going back to work, then you would have somebody other than yourself, babies are super smart, have somebody other than yourself give the baby a bottle, all right? There is no one perfect bottle. Moms ask me all the time, what kind of bottle should I use? So what I can tell you, I can give you some tips for what features to look for on a bottle. And that would be a bottle that is wide, all right? And so as a lactation consultant, when babies are breastfeeding, I encourage moms to, when they bring the baby to the breast, the baby needs to come on with an open mouth. So this type of nipple helps the baby, create a seal on the bottle that's a little bit wider than on a more narrow bottle. So you can see the difference there, okay? All right, this is a little bit more narrow. This is a little bit wider. So it forces the baby to open their mouth a little bit. So that would be a wide mouth bottle. The other thing that I would recommend is something that has a slow flow nipple. All right, so all of these bottles right here, again, not promoting one brand over the other, but all of these have a slow flow nipple on them. And what we know, these also slow flow nipple and wide mouth, but in particular, the Dr. Brown's nipple, this is the type of nipple when I worked in the NICU that we would use on our babies there because they laser their nipples. So they're very precise in the flow of the milk that comes out, okay? So there's lots of nipples, and if you are a new mommy coming home from the hospital, a lot of times they love to shove these in your bag and you just screw on the top of the formula bottle. And what I want to tell you, even though these are made by Similac or Ross Labs, Abbott, all the same name, that even though it says slow flow on here, this is a fast flowing nipple. If you would take it and turn it upside down, you're going to see it go drip, drip, drip. And then you put a little bit of suction from a baby's mouth and it's going to be really flowing. Alrighty, so just keep that in mind. The other thing, there's a ton of marketing with Nook nipples, and this is also not a nipple that I would recommend for a baby who is doing both breast and bottle. If I was working with a mommy and the baby came off the breast and her nipple looked like this kind of slant, and this tube of lipstick look to it, then I would be really worried. Alrighty. And that would tell me that was a really shallow latch. So I don't want to use a nipple that's also going to promote tongue placement being in that same spot. So this one, throw that one out. Okay. I have a nice little flow chart. Let's see, put it over here that I wanted to show you when I was teaching some classes in the NICU. We had this chart that I would share with the nurses. And so this just shows you that there's all these different flows for the nipples. All right. They actually do studies on these nipples to figure that out. So again, slow flow nipple and wide mouth bottle. Back to that. Okay. So we said 3 to 4 weeks, offer the baby a bottle, needs to be done by someone other than yourself. Sometimes moms even need to go out of the house. They need to go to Starbucks or go to Meijer, go walk the aisles, buy yourself something nice. Some babies are that smart that they can smell. Babies have a really good, keen sense of smell that they sometimes can smell the milk. All righty. So, all right, let's talk about offering the bottle. Some babies will like the bottle milk warmed. Some babies will take it at room temperature and they don't care. It depends on the baby. The other thing that I want to talk to you about is teaching whoever is going to be giving the baby a bottle, paced bottle feeding. If you head over to my Baby's Best Beginning YouTube channel, I have a video over there on paced bottle feeding and what that looks like. And we pace it to mimic breastfeeding. All right. So there's lots of things out there that you're going to read on Dr. Google that talks about nipple confusion. And in my experience, most of the babies that I see who are having struggles going back and forth between breast and bottle, they're struggling more with flow of the bottle in the milk, not necessarily the nipple itself. All right, unless a mom has super flat nipples or inverted nipples, something unusual like that. But most babies do fine, but it's just the flow. All right, because the difference between breast and bottle feeding, when babies take a bottle, boom, they automatically get milk. So it's instant gratification. When babies come to the breast and they latch on, this is my handy dandy little model, they come and they latch on to the breast and they start suckling, then those babies have to work a little bit before the milk lets down, okay? And so there's not that instant gratification like there is with bottle feeding. So we pace it, we slow it down to mimic breastfeeding, all right? So head on over there to that YouTube channel. You'll find it helpful. All right, some babies like to, when someone gives the baby a bottle, some babies like to mimic breastfeeding where the baby's all nice and snuggled, and we're going to give a baby a bottle like this. Okay, you're going to see with paced bottle feeding, we're going to hold it more horizontal though, rather than by gravity, where the baby's just like getting this constant guzzle of milk. All right, so some babies like to be held like this. Some babies know, like, this is not breastfeeding. This is not what I'm used to. So some babies need to be held out from your body, just like this. And you're going to see that in the paced bottle feeding. So to support the baby's neck back here and feed the baby this way. All right. Some babies don't want to be, like, you know, they look up, they go, oh no, that is not my mom. Some babies like to be fed looking out so they can't see that it's mommy. All right. Some babies like motion. Did a bottle feeding consult not too long ago, and the only way we could figure out how to get that baby to take a bottle is for there to be motion. So mom had, or not mom, dad actually had to stand up, and he had to give the baby facing out just like this, okay, using motion. And that's what ended up working. Some babies are incredibly stubborn when they go to take a bottle when they've been a really great little breastfeeding baby. And again, it never ceases to amaze me just how incredibly smart babies are. Okay, so those are a couple things. Even with the temperature, you can take the nipple and dip it into some milk and warm up the nipple. Sometimes that helps. Another little tip is to take something that smells like mom, like her nightshirt or maybe a scarf that she always wears, but to take that, and if that baby is refusing to take a bottle, but take that, and you can kind of snuggle that around the baby, so that sense of smell with mommy will often have help the baby take a bottle. All right, so that's another little hack that I can share with you. Okay. What else do I want to tell you about? Temperature, smell, distractions. Some babies, to give a bottle, it has to be absolutely quiet. And some babies don't care. The TV can be blaring, the dog barking, vacuuming, all that. All right. So again, it kind of boils down to your baby and what your baby is going to like. Okay. Let me make sure I covered all of my points. I would try, again, we talked about around 3 to 4 weeks, and I would try, if the baby takes the bottle fine, no problems, and you know mom's going back to work, I would say maybe 3 times a week, and moms would need to pump during that time, and that would be the milk that somebody else would give. So make sure you're emptying your breast, all right, if you're going to give a bottle. If the baby's struggling, I would say maybe try once a day. I wouldn't try more than that. Don't push it, because again, babies are smart and they see this bottle coming and they're going to start, they'll start crying just at the sight of the bottle. So we don't want that. We want the baby to be calm. Even trying when they're drowsy is helpful to do. So pick a time when they're not fully awake and don't wait till they're super, super hungry. All right. You want to catch them when they're just starting to show early signs of being hungry. So sticking out their tongue, bringing their hands to their mouth, rooting and searching for food when you're holding them. All right. So catch them early, not till they get to hangry. All right. Hangry is real with a baby. Once they get to crying, like crying is a late hunger cue, and it's really hard for them to organize to stop, and especially when they're learning how to bottle feed. Okay. So I think that's it. I covered most of the tips for you. I will make sure you guys have access. I have a really great handout that I give my moms, and it's the same title as this talk. So tips to get a breastfeeding baby to take a bottle. All right. Reach out to me if you need me. If you are a nursing mom who would love to have extra support, come join us at Mom's Milk Club every Monday from 10 to 11 Eastern Standard Time. It's all via Zoom, and you're going to feel loved and supported. All right. So I hope you found this helpful, and I will talk to you soon.